The astrological year does not begin in January, it begins in spring. When seeds crack open soil and animals awake from hibernation, compelled to move and breed, and assert territory without hesitation or negotiation. It begins when the primal force that Aries represents becomes visible in nature, becomes undeniable, becomes impossible to ignore or meditate away. But here's what astrology gets wrong about Aries, or what it leaves out entirely. The constellation Aries in the sky has nothing to do with why the astrological year begins there. The position of the stars tells you nothing about the force Aries represents. The myth of Aries, rather, describes something far more fundamental and far more dangerous. The raw primal energy that breaks open dormancy and forces movement out of stagnation. The first force from which all other movement and transformation must emerge. You cannot understand why the year begins in spring without understanding that primal force must come first. Without the rupture, nothing else is possible. Most of what we understand about Aries comes from the constellation. That's the pattern of the stars that are visible from Earth that has been given that name and assigned that symbol for thousands of years. Astrology does not operate through astronomy, and the constellations tell you nothing about why Aries is the beginning of the year. Astrology operates as a language of forces and archetypical patterns, and the force that Aries names is the primal, aggressive, urgent, absolutely non-negotiable compulsion that makes movement necessary when everything is dormant, closed, and waiting. Aries is the force that comes first because primal force comes first. Before anything else can emerge, before growth, before transformation, before possibility, something must rupture what is closed. Something must force the opening. Something must compel movement out of stagnation. That something is what Aries represents. In mythology, Aries is associated with Mars in his role as the initiator, the force of aggression and assertion, the raw drive that demands action and does not negotiate or hesitate or asks permission. But here's what makes the force essential rather than destructive. Nothing emerges without it. No new cycles can begin without the rupture that precedes birth. No growth is possible without the breaking of what contained the potential. The primal force of Aries operates at the level of the cosmos itself, expressing through the biological imperative to reproduce and defend and expand territory. It operates in seeds as they rupture their shells and push through soil. It operates in animals as they wake from hibernation, hungry and aggressive and driven to move. It operates in your nervous system with exactly the same intensity and demand. This is whether you have consciously chosen this activation or not.